Hello and hi, my name is Nur Farah Hazilkah Betika Manzari. My matrix number 1210508. In this video, I will talk about intercultural communication based on one of the old movie which is Outsourced. Before we go deep in this movie, I will tell you a little about this movie. The story begins when American call center manager Todd, which is the main actor in this movie, is shocked to learn that his company is shutting down and moving its operation to India. He is told that he will be heading the transition dam and training his counterpart in Mumbai. While initially baffled by the Indian culture, Todd eventually begins to get along with his new co-workers, and with the help of the female staff, which is Aisha, he learns to appreciate his new surroundings. We will observe some of the intercultural communication issues that happen between two different cultures, which is American and Indian. So let's get started. Okay, the first issue is shown at the first scene, which is Todd is run to get in the train that it will get him to his new job place. Like we see, he have to run and jump on the train like what he did. The culture different here in India. There are no specific time for getting on the train. Also, there are no details that show the direction of the train, and sometimes you have to run and jump on it because it will not stop. But in America, everything is managed. The leaving times and any train have to stop. Individualism in India is low because they are poor and undeveloped country. But in America is high because they is an development country and modern. The next thing is Puro tell Todd that he wants him to stay at Angie's guest house rather than the hotel that Todd supposed to stay at because he thinks he'll get lonely there. But initially declines the offer by saying that he wants to go to the hotel, but Puro insists on taking him to Angie's guest house, which is he eventually does. The explanation for this scene is Todd come from an individualist society, a society where a person only looks after and cares for oneself and one's direct family. Puro, on the other hand, come from a collectivist society where people care for each other and feel a sense of responsibility towards one another. This is shown when Puro expressed his concern that Todd would feel lonely if he was to stay at the hotel, and so he offers to take him to Angie's guest house, providing him with a less lonely atmosphere. Even though Todd ends up staying at the guest house, we can tell by his expression like that he would much rather stay at the hotel where he would have had more privacy and would have been more comfortable alone. After that, when Todd is in his way with Puro, the man that will take him to the place that he will stay in a while in India, he see a man is urinating in public and he doesn't care. The difference between India and America is if you have to urinating and it's okay to pee in streets, but in America they stop in any situation and they have an restroom in streets and they don't make it public. It's uncertainty avoidance. India is low because they don't care about the laws and they don't have to follow the rules and they don't have any specific rule for anything. But in America it's high. They have a specific laws and regulation. When Todd arrived at Angie's guest house, Angie welcomes Todd into her guest house and begins asking him the following questions. For example, what does your father do? What is your salary? Are you married? To which Todd just answers, no, I'm not married. And Angie gets so surprised when she finds out that Todd doesn't have kids nor is he in a relationship, because she thinks that Todd he is old enough to be a grandfather. The explanation for this scene is In a high context society such as India, a person's place in society is determined by different factors such as his or her job, relative, marital status, and others. Angie asked the questions in an attempt to understand Todd's position. In this scene, you can tell that Todd wasn't comfortable with this question because as he comes from a low context culture where personal privacy is respected and valued. Eventually, he only answers the concerning his marital status, saying he is not married because he is not ready to start a family, which also reflects the individual freedom people from low context societies possess. Before the scene, Angie asked Todd many questions. There was a scene that they served for him some kind of Indian food. When he was started to eat the food, he used his left hand. Then Puro stopped him by informing Todd that you don't eat with the left hand and you have to use right hand because the left hand considered as not clean. In India, it is rude to eat with your left hand, but in America, there is no particular rule. They don't mind to eat with right or left hand. Uncertainty avoidance in India is high because they have specific rules for eating and make their religion things. And they consider eating as a religion, but in America, they don't care about the way you eat as you eating. In this scene also, we should not place the hand that has been in your mouth back again in the food. In these issues, we have two different scenes, which is in the first scene, Todd tells Puro he only sees his parents a few times a year even though they live 2 hours away from him. Puro is genuinely shocked by this and says he doesn't understand the American life and finds it strange. In the second scene, Todd asks Asha if she ever thought about living in the US after she got married. But Asha replies, I would miss my parents. It will be too hard. So, in this we can know that India is a collectivist society. They like to maintain close personal relationship to their family. In India, there are a big family that live together. The grandfather and mother and the children and the grandchildren also in one house, that all generations of the family live together. But in America, they see that after finishing high school, you are old enough to live alone and to become responsible about your life. Individualism or collectivism that in India is low because they are more traditional agriculture and they are extended families and tribe. But in America is high because the people are modern and urbanization. Also sometimes they have unclear family background. Okay, the last scene is the most interesting thing for me because before this I don't know the special day that Indian culture celebrate, which is called holiday. Holiday is like the celebration of color changing of seasons. So the story begins when one day Angie wrote a note state that she told Todd to stay in house today and pass it at the door. But Todd didn't notice the note, so he go to his workplace as usual. On the way to his workplace, the surrounding feels so weird and quiet. Suddenly, he saw Puro and Puro asked him to hide quickly. Unexpectedly, the little boy threw colored powder to him. He was so shocked, but surprisingly, he started to enjoy the festival. For Todd, this holy festival is just like Halloween festival in his country, which is America. So that's all from me. Thank you.